Coach Jay Wright, Phil Booth, Eric Haskell. As we said
You guys
earlier,
have a tough time. We got to wait this long. It's a long time since this game was over. A thrill to just be in the final here at the Garden. You know, guys have heard me say it all week, but we really do genuinely relish this opportunity to play in this environment, this building, in this league. We want to give a lot of credit to Seton Hall. I think Kevin's done as good a job as anybody in the country. This team, this Seton Hall team right now, if you look at their games, losing in double overtime on the road to Georgetown and then beating us, Marquette, all the teams in this tournament easily could have won this game. They could beat anybody in the NCAA tournament. They have. They beat Kentucky, Maryland. Just speaks to how good our league is and what a great job Kevin did. So we have great respect for them. And lastly, these two seniors, you know, they're going to go down as two of the greatest Villanova basketball players of all time. And we're just, you know, you got to thank God that you had the opportunity to be a part of their lives. They've meant so much to all of us.
in the middle, Joe.
Jay, you knew you had some special younger players, but I'm sure you were concerned about how they would handle all the attention and the spotlight in this place 3 days. How do you think they did?
Really well. I think this really helped us. You know, we got, you know, Cole Swider playing, you know, coming off 6 weeks off of the program and then coming back in this environment. You know, did a great job for us. Joe Cremo gave us good minutes. And then, you know, our sophomore, Sadiq Bey, as a freshman, did, you know, his first 2 or 3 shots were air balls. And then after that, just had great games. And then, you know, Demir's a sophomore, Collins a sophomore. I think they did a really good job.
And Jermaine?
And Mano. Wow. See, I'm even counting Mano as almost as an upperclassman because he hangs with these two so much. But Mano he's very inexperienced, but man, he was great in this tournament.
In the middle, Jay.
Jay, it feels like your team has been battling this season more so this year than in recent years. What does it say about the character of the team to come back from that losing stretch and get 3 grind-out wins for a Big East tournament title?
It means a lot in our program to get these grind-out kind of games. It's really a tribute to Phil and Eric. They really have been like coaches this season. You know, we can do so much on the court, but they've got to take the guys in the locker room and teach them, you know, how we prepare for practice, how we prepare for games. They've got to teach them how to get sleep at night, you know, how to eat the right way. They've been like big brothers, fathers almost to these guys. And it's been frustrating for them. You know, there's a lot of times in games our young guys just don't know what we're doing, you know, and these guys are trying to cover for everybody. It's just been an incredible experience of leadership by these two.
On the right now.
Jay, over the past 6 years now, since kind of the league was built, you and Seton Hall just a million post-game,
Yeah.
won by 2 overtime, title games both decided by 2. What has it been like from your side of this rivalry, and why do you think there have been so many post-game players changing and everything year after year?
First, I think Kevin Willard is one of the best coaches in the country. I really do. Look, we've coached against all of them, you know. I really think he is. X and O wise, they have great schemes. And then they have that Big East physicality, that toughness that we try to play with, right? So when we play them, then there's no advantage there. That gets knocked out. So it becomes a rock fight. And that's what Big East basketball, Kevin played in it. You know, he grew up in it. I grew up in it. We really respect him. Like we learn a lot. I joke with Kevin, but in 16, what they did to us here, I think helped us win a championship because no one had done that to us. And then we knew we had to prepare for it in the tournament. So I think there's a lot of similarities in the program, and we're proud to be associated with them in a similar way.
On the left, Ed.
Jay, it's your 4th Big East title in 5 years. I know you're going to say they're all special. Can you appreciate this one more considering where you were at the start of the season with all you lost and all you had to go through at the beginning of the year to get to this point?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can appreciate it. I really can. You know, you live in the present, right? So what you're doing now is most important, and it's really all that matters. What you did in the past doesn't matter. So this is thrilling, and there's more to this one. You know, like just watching these two, what they did. You know, we lost our 2 top assistants. We had young coaches who did a great job, and these 2 were like coaches. You know, I would really go to them, have meetings with them. Like, we got to do this. We got to get the guys to this. You have to teach them this. you have to be patient. Don't strangle Dada. Just we have to keep teaching them, and they did it. So and we have really good guys, like really good guys that allow us to coach them. So it's really been rewarding. This is a real special one.
All the way to the right, Nicole.
Jay, I asked Eric this on the court, and it's kind of going along with what you were just talking about the responsibility that you put on your seniors in this program. Can you just speak to that and how they have embraced that and taken that and really taken ownership of this program beyond just, as you described, little leadership moments?
Well, in our program, the older you get and the more responsibility is put on you. It's not easier on you, it's actually harder on you. And then, you're expected to have the most pride, the most understanding in the program. And your senior year is not about you. It's about you giving back and teaching the younger guys because the guys before you did it. Josh Hart was here tonight on the court. He took great pride in these two, right? Because they were the young guys he was teaching when he was a senior. And they all know that and they pass it down. Now, Josh had, the young guys he had were these two who were experienced. It was a little easier. The young guys, these two have no experience. So what they had to do is off the charts. And that's what made it a really special year.
Right here in the middle.
Hey Coach, so about a year ago, Jermaine was struggling with injuries and maybe a little bit of extra hesitation in his play. Could you speak a little about how in the past year his development and how it has helped you guys build a whole new team?
He's grown incredibly. He's a really coachable young man. Another guy that comes from, an old school family that teaches him, like, listen to the coach, and then he's their boy, right? And there's a lot of times I would go to these two and say, guys, you got to talk to Mano. Like, you got to get Mano to stop playing video games. You got to teach him how to be serious as a basketball player. And Mano listens, like he tells them, and I see, Mano, how you doing? I'm not playing video games, I'm watching basketball games, And that's what they teach them, And you can tell a lot of kids that they won't listen. He listens to everything you tell him, and we're all thrilled. And my wife hears me get frustrated with him the most, and that's my wife's favorite player because she hears me get nuts about him. She's always telling me you should play him more. Don't yell at him so much. He's a real special guy in our program. No one gets more excited when he has success than all of us.
All the way in the back, Bob.
Jay, odd game in some ways, 54 combined points first half, 92 second half, and it looked like you guys were on the verge of maybe taking control 2 or 3 times, and it never happened. Is that your execution, their tenacity, or just this place, this setting?
Well, I hate to say this, but that's why you're a good writer, but it's those 3. It really is. It's like, this place is crazy. It just doesn't let you get out of a game. The fans stay behind you. Crazy things happen here. If you look at their season, they have been down in a lot of games. Even games they lost, like they lost at Butler, they were down 20. They had a chance to win it. And they've been like that all year. They just never go away. And then we tried to lose that. I mean, we did some crazy things at the end. But that was all our young guys, that just weren't experienced in these situations. So it was a combination.
In the back.
Jay, 2-parter. Were you surprised after the missed free throw that Kevin called the timeout? And then when he did, what was the defensive message to the team about Miles Powell and just showing him what makes him so tough to guard?
I really wasn't surprised because I was saying earlier, he is a really good X and O guy. Like he knows what you're doing, and he does a great job of countering that with his players. So that's what we talk about. When we prepare for them, we say, like, look, I showed them, like, look what they do. Like, this guy's a really good coach, right? So we say to them, we can't just expect them to run a certain play for Powell. They could run action use Powell as a decoy, and I just tell these guys, you got to read it, because I can't tell you what they're going to do, because he could set it up for what you think they're going to do for Powell and get somebody else a shot. And so I really put it on the players. They did a great job of communicating together.
On the right round.
Phil, this is for you. Heard Coach talk about how tough it is to be a senior, and Eric mentioned it on the court. When you have a game like this where the young guys actually kind of get it, how satisfying is that for you, and how much does that sort of take a load off you when they're giving you a contribution?
They've had times throughout the year where you've done a lot and won us some games. Jermaine, Sadiq, Colin.
I can go on the list that goes on. So when they score and make points, that doesn't really surprise me. It's us together as a team defensively is what's more important to us. We got to be connected as a group of 5 on the court, but offensively they can do a lot of different things, as you've seen with Sadiq today, Jermaine. What they did offensively was no surprise to any of us.
On the left, Ted.
For Eric and Phil, guys, can each of you tell us about what it's like to be Big East Tournament champions 3 consecutive years? And you guys should know that for the first time in the history of this great event, you guys are the first group that has won 3 consecutive Big East Tournament championships.
I mean, it's pretty cool to know that. We never really talked about it. I mean, we just talked about each year. I mean, coming from the first time, first one of the streak, we just talked about being the greatest team we could be, greatest Villanova basketball team we could be. So there's nothing really like we're not playing. We just try to be the best Villanova basketball team and see where that takes us.
Phil, do you want to take
Just very fortunate, blessed to be among some great teams, some great teammates, great players. You know, stuff like that you can't really talk about it and try to think in your mind, oh, I'm going to win 3 consecutive Big East Tournament championships. It just doesn't happen like that. You just like you said, you got to be focused on being the best team you can be by the end of the season. And I think each year we try to do that, and I've just been blessed with some great teammates.
2 more, right here in front.
Phil, you spoke about your teammates coming through. For you individually, as you were struggling, but they maintained the forefront when you got going in the second half. What did you see offensively?
My team kept telling me, Boop, just stay aggressive, you know. The shots falling, keep leading us, you know, do whatever you got to do. You know, just trying to make the right read the defense, you know, if it was a shot, make it, or pass it then. So just trying to make the right read on offense and be strong with the ball.
Over here on the left, one final question.
Coach, yesterday, Xavier had Hankins, who had a good game. Today, Seton Hall shot 42 points in the paint. How much of a concern is that?
You know, it's always a balance. You know, the game's changed. You know, it used to be back in the day that would really upset you, but you always have to check on that balance. If you're giving that up and you're giving up threes, you're in trouble. If you're giving that up and you're taking away threes, you can be okay. So it's sometimes that gets you, and sometimes you say, you know what, they're just twos. You know, how many? I didn't get to see. They had 7 threes. You know, they beat us 13 threes the last time. So it's a trade-off.
Well, no, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.